Good morning, everybody, and uh, welcome to this uh, session on water flaps. So mine is the first talk. I'm going to talk on MK LASIK, the gold standard. Friends, you know that the LASIK is one of the most safest technique in all the medicine, and being conducted now these days in huge number and very safely, and most of the people are happy with this technique and getting rid of glasses. The only important factor in the LASIK is the formation of the flap. The making flap is the most important factor. So I'm going to speak on how to make the flap with the MK microkeratome. The goals of the flap formation is you need to have a very smooth bed. You need to have a consistent flap thickness. Your flap hinge should be away from the treatment area. You should have a very safe flap formation without any damage to the flap, while preserving the corneal integrity and also trying to reduce the incidence of dry eyes. Microkeratome has been has a proven history because it has been around for the last now 30 to 40 years now. The basic theory was evolved by the George Baraker somewhere 30 years ago. And he first used this device for the ALK and MLK. But in 90s, he modified the use of this device in a procedure that has come now known to be a very popular procedure, LASIK. On the other hand, the bladeless LASIK, the femto LASIK, also called the femto LASIK, came a little later in the field of laser vision correction, somewhere in 2000. It uses femto laser in the place of microkeratome to cut the thin flap of the cornea. This technique is computer calibrated technique, so that so you have a fixed depth and fixed flap thickness and the size of the flap. They all are computer driven, so you get a fixed flap thickness and fixed size of the flap. The slices interface with the femto LASIK is very smooth, and you do not get the spherical aberration with this kind of flap. Definitely, the slices have an appropriate diameter along with the appropriate hinge size. The chances of flap deformities are very rare, near negligible, as the laser creates the same thickness of the flap, whatever the curve of the cornea would be. So it's very safe technique, the femto LASIK. But if you look at the literature, overall, only 17% of the global procedures now uses femtosecond laser for the LASIK procedure, while 83% of the procedures uses mechanical microkeratome. So this data is very important because still the mechanical microkeratome is the most popular technique being used world over, almost 83%. And the reason for this is a traditional technique because we started with this technique, started with the use of the microkeratome, which is actually, if you look at this technique, it's very simple. That is the most important point. This technique is very simple. It's very efficient also. It's swift, like it's a fast technique. It doesn't take too long like the femto LASIK takes. It's a very swift technique. It's relatively inexpensive. Now these factors, because of these factors, a lot of people, they still prefer this technique and still continuing because it started with the traditional technique. So they are more comfortable in using because this technique is comfortable for the surgeon as well as to the patient also. And the principle of this technique, the microkeratome system, work on the carpenter's plane, or which is also called as the randa. So this is the carpenter's plane, which is used to make the slices of the wood. And similarly, you can make the slices of the cornea. So same principle is used in the microkeratome. And if you look at the carpenter's plane, it has a blade, it has a plate. Now this plate is fixed onto the plate with appropriate to achieve an appropriate thickness or determines the thickness of the slice what you actually looking for. So this is how the principle works. Similarly, in the microkeratome system, you have a blade and you have a plate, and this is the head and this is the plate. Now this blade is fixed with the head, and the application plate has a certain different kind of thickness. You can produce the slices of the cornea. The cornea, as you know, is a spherical object. Unlike wood, will not have be in contact with the application plate at all, or any points along with the blade motion, because since it's spherical. So you need to applanate the cornea. So for the applanation of the cornea, you have to use a high vacuum to applanate the cornea, and the vacuum is created with a suction plate, which is applied all around the cornea, and so that you flatten the cornea, and then you get a smooth surface of the cornea for making the slices. The suction ring and the vacuum pump is the important feature of this device, because this has to be fixed on the corneal surface around the limbus. And if the cornea, the point is, because this factor is very important, because if the cornea is not flattened or applanated properly, then we may get the problems, because the problems start if the applanation is not properly done. Then you may get a thin flaps or free flaps, or you may get just a lamellar flap on of the cornea, which would complicate the whole surgical procedure. So this is how the applanation plate is fixed on the cornea. And after the applanation is created, then you fix up the head with the blade on the applanation plate, and this plate is advanced, the head is advanced over the plate, and then you create a flap. Once you create the flap, then flap is lifted, and the laser is done on the corneal surface, and then the flap is put back. Now, if you look at the microkeratome system, makes this surgical procedure very fast, because as I said in the beginning, because this very swift technique, you do not, it does not take too long to make the flap. It's a very swift procedure. And another important point is, because since it's a swift, you're creating very less vacuum and the surface is smooth, the recovery in terms of the clarity and the crispness is very fast. The very next day, the patient is quite happy and recovers almost full vision. And since the suction used in microkeratome procedure lasts hardly few seconds, 3 to 4 seconds, so patients are generally much comfortable with the microkeratome, unlike the laser system, where you use the suction for a very long time. So patients are generally very uncomfortable, and fixing the suction ring and frontal LASIK, it's very difficult. Many times it gets stuck and so. So if you are using the modern day microkeratome with much advanced technology now available, your flap-related complications are very rare, because I haven't seen now any flap-related complications for the last so many years. And it's very difficult to tell, like, if a good flap is done with the microkeratome or a good flap is done with the frontal LASIK, there is no difference at all. So the most important aspect in these both the devices is the surgeon. The surgeon factor is very important, because any tool, these tools are only as good as the surgeon who's using them. So surgeon factor is very important. So that's why, like, whenever you are convincing the patient for the LASIK procedure, you, rather than insisting on the microkeratome or stressing on the microkeratome or stressing on the femto LASIK, you should stress the surgeon factor, because the surgeon factor is very important. The experienced surgeon for the best outcomes in the LASIK procedure. That is what we normally do. Like, it's a surgeon factor which is most important. The devices are used by the surgeon, and you get a similar kind of flap, whatever you use, whether you use a microkeratome or you use the femto LASIK. Coming to the complications are the main difference between these two techniques. But we have seen the complication may occur with the femto laser also, because many times the femto laser, you have an incomplete flap, you may get into the flap bridges and so many problems. So many times you get into the femto LASIK also. So flap-related complications like buttonholes and incomplete flaps, they are really very rare now, but they may occur with the femto laser also as well. So all the microkeratomes creates a meniscus flap. That is the only difference, because the microkeratome will create a meniscus flap which is thinner at the center and little thicker at the periphery. But on clinical literature, there is no data showing that the planar flap is any better than the meniscus flap, because the the clinical outcome is same in both the situation. There can be on the other hand, there could be disadvantages to the laser flap, such as the increased risk of additional edema, because this is basically because of additional use of laser on the corneal stroma may create edema in the stroma, and which may take many times it takes very long time for the patient to have a clear vision. Microkeratome has another advantage because microkeratome can create flap in eyes with the anterior stromal opacity or scars. That people having scars, because this device cuts the opacities in many cases without any difficulty and without any complication. On the other hand, Temple's basic laser cannot create a flap if you have a scar, or if the patient has already gone in a previous surgery like RK surgery, or if you want the repeat surgery, then the temporal surgery will not work. It's the microkeratome which works very well in these cases. Another important point is, but as I said in the beginning, microkeratome procedure lasts hardly for a few seconds, so maximum rise of pressure is hardly 65. So patients who have glaucoma would be better off with the microkeratome because of the time of suction and degree of suction is less in these cases. So the essential components are suction ring, vacuum pump, applanation plate, motor means of oscillating the blade at high speed, gears and mechanism for the translation of the blade into the blade. So this is the uh, console where you fix up the devices, both the suction pump as well as the motor, and which actually operates the system and to create the flap, and then you complete your procedure and get a good post-operative results.